Hello, my name is Zoe, and for my inquiry project I chose to look at education, specifically education in developing countries. What is an essential question? Well, it is a question that is meaningful to you and is something that you want to look further into. My essential question for this project was what prevents kids in developing countries from getting an education. The reason why this is something that is meaningful to me, as well as something I wanted to look deeper into, is because education has always been a big part of my life. Ever since I was in grade 3, I have had a wonderful relationship with education. As I got older, my love of knowledge only grew deeper. Now that I am in grade 11, I can't imagine what my life would be like without education, and the doors that it has opened for me. I began to wonder what specific things prevent certain kids from getting an education like mine, which has led me to my essential question. A lot of research went into this project. Most of my research came from the book I Am Malala, which is by Malala herself. I Am Malala is an autobiography that talks about what Malala and everyone she knows went through when she was fighting for her right to an education. I made sure to take lots of notes on the book because I knew that it would come in handy when I started writing my own short story on the fight for education. A website that I found to be useful when I was researching solutions for this lack of access to education was the UNICEF website. UNICEF is an organization that helps children all over the world in many different ways. The information that they had on education was also very helpful in expanding my understanding of education in developing countries, as well as making it easier to have realistic solutions in my story. It didn't take me long at all to decide who I wanted to interview for my project. The person I chose to interview was my biology teacher, Mr. Atkinson. I chose him because he has done a lot of international teaching, making him the perfect person to ask my questions to. And as you can see, I had a lot of questions. In the classes leading up to the inquiry project, Mr. Atkinson spoke of his trips to different developing countries and what he did there. The interview itself was not very long, but he gave me all the information that I needed in order to get a better grasp of my project. The information that he gave me helped me greatly with writing my story and figuring out what else I had to research. I was lucky enough to have not had too many challenges during this project. The only real challenge that I had was sticking to the schedule I made at the beginning of the project for when I wanted to work on different parts of it. About halfway through, I pretty much abandoned the schedule because with all of my other classes, it became a swirling mess. Instead, I just did the best I could and worked on it as often as I could. A success that I had during the project, though, was that because I got all of my research and the interview done early, I had plenty of time to really concentrate on writing a good short story. The final thing that I would like to talk about is my authentic piece. For my authentic piece, as you know by now, I chose to write a short story, but it wasn't just a short story. It was a story written as if it were a diary. I chose to write it as a diary because I wanted the reader to feel like they were in the mind of the main character as he or she experienced what it was like to lose their education and fight to get it back. I say he or she because in my story I never specified if the main character is a boy or a girl. I did it that way because A, both boys and girls in developing countries struggle for their right to education, and B, because I really wanted it to feel like the audience was writing the story. I wanted people to empathize and understand what the main character was feeling, and I feel like not giving the main character a specific gender made them more universal. This way the plot became the center of attention, and the character merely a voice for it. I personally am really proud of my story and think that it does everything that I wanted it to in answering the essential question in a unique and personal way.